Is being recorded.
Afternoon and evening. Welcome to the 12th episode of VizConnect. And today we will be talking about how to improve our data skills, right? And data visualization is one of the hottest skills which organizations is looking right now. And today for that we have Meera Umasankar. She will help us to understand how she has mastered her data skills using Makeover Monday. So just an introduction about Meera. She is a Tableau ambassador and a featured author. She is currently working in Singapore at IHS, Singapore's healthcare organization, as a senior specialist in data visualization. She has been using Tableau for nearly 4 years now, and she has fallen in love with it. She does a lot of whizzing at work as well as at home. She is an active member of Tableau community involved in various social projects like Makeover Monday and Iron Quest. She also co-lead Data Plus Women community in Singapore. And the fun fact about her is that she loves playing badminton and she loves to travel. Over to me, to you, Meera.
Yeah, so thank you, Sagar. So thank you for having me on today's VizConnect session. So hello, everyone. I'm thrilled to talk to you about my data viz journey and how Makeover Monday has helped me master my data viz skills. So by the end of this session, you would have learned about what Makeover Monday is and how to design your first data viz. As Sagar mentioned, I'm Meera Umasankar. I work currently at IHIS as a senior specialist in data visualization. I'm a recent Tableau public ambassador, and I also co-lead Singapore's Data Plus Women community. So first things first, begin by giving you some background about the Tableau community. I've been working on Tableau for more than 4 years now. However, it's been only a year since I knew about the community and its awesomeness. I should thank Sarah Burnett, who's my ex-boss, who introduced me to this amazing community and has been a great inspiration in every aspect. Trust me, Tableau community and the people there are mind-blowing and they inspire me every day. That being said, if you're looking to get started with your database journey, the first step would be to create a Twitter account. Join the community. Not only you would be part of this amazing community, but also learn and get inspired by the work that the data rock stars produce. I wasn't a fan of social media, but I joined Twitter just to get more involved and be a part of something great. Let's talk about Makeover Monday. People who don't know about Makeover Monday, it's a free community database project that will help you to personally develop your database skills. That being said, if you are interested in beginning your Viz journey, or if you're looking to improvise your database skills, this is where to start. This is hosted by two incredible people of the community and Zen masters, Eva Murray and Dick Riebel. Two of many whom I've always admired, and I love how their contributions to the community have been so valuable. I would definitely like to thank them both for doing this. So there are 6 simple steps that you should follow to get started with your Makeover Monday journey. So firstly, you will get the data set every Sunday. Your data. Second step would be to start analyzing it. Third would be if once you analyze, of course, you'll find a story and then you have to start vizzing. And once you're done with the dashboard, you have to publish it to Tableau Public and then submit your Viz for Viz review. So for submitting your Viz for Viz review, there's a complete process that you should follow, which I'll be covering in a bit. So once you've submitted, Eva or Andy, they'll give you their feedback, and then you just have to iterate based on that. As I said, if you want to get feedback, then this is how it works. So this process flow was created by Eva, and it's very important to follow this if you intend to get feedback. So the flow is clearly explained here. So if you see, get feedback on your MakeOverMonday Viz, or I mean, if it's yes, then if you want to get the feedback during the webinar or Twitter comments, so it's very important here. So if you want only through Twitter comments, then you should not use this hashtag. So MMVizReview is the hashtag that you should use while you submit your Viz for Viz review. So if you do not intend to attend the webinar, then you do not use this MMVizReview hashtag. But if you want your Viz to get reviewed, then you just add the MMVizReview hashtag and then register for Bright Talk webinar. So I'm going to show you how this exactly works in a bit. But so this is the process flow that's been designed. And then you can join, the live or on demand as well. So it's not necessarily that you should join the live session because, of course, the timing matters. So it's always available on demand. And then, so the feedback will be given. So based on your time, you can iterate on the feedback given, and then you can post it again on Twitter. So this is how it works. Yes, so before that, let me show you how do you do it. So this is the MakeOverMonday website. So if you log in here, if I go home, tells you all about what MakeOverMonday is and what are the 6 steps that I went through just now. And if you want to participate, there are the data sets. So if you go here, you'll find, so since 2016, MakeOverMonday has been happening. So if you go to the current year, you'll have all the data sets listed. Okay, for example, if you want to download week 42, which is this week's data set, you just click on data.world. This is where data usually gets published. Here, you'll have an original visualization. Also, you'll have a supporting article to it. So it's always advisable to read through the article and then go through what the original Viz looks like, so that you'll get more understanding on what the Viz is all about, or the topic is all about. And then you got to download the data set from here. If you download the data set, then you're good to go. So once you have the data set downloaded, then you can, of course, visualize it and publish it on Tableau Public. So my way of building a Viz. Firstly, let me begin by talking about how my Viz journey started. It was last year, I started my first MakeOverMonday Viz with one of my ex-colleagues as a collaboration. We worked on few of the MakeOverMonday Vizzes last year. It was a great experience, and it helped us to learn a lot from one another. Moreover, it helped me to identify my passion towards data visualization. Though I was technically good at Tableau, to be very honest, I wasn't good at visualizing the data. So that's when I was awestruck by Sarah's huge achievement on completing every single week of MakeOverMonday last year. That being said, I've taken a commitment of doing every single MakeOverMonday Vizzes this year. So far, I've completed 41 weeks of MakeOverMonday, which means that, in other words, I've published 41 MakeOverMonday Vizzes to my Tableau public profile. Here is how I go Vizzing. Mostly the data is up on data.world, as I said, so usually on Sundays. So before I download, I take a look at the data set, read the supporting article, and also, as I mentioned earlier, there is an original visualization which is always given. So I use that as a start to understand what the data is all about. Before you start to analyze, I would suggest you to maybe time box yourself to not more than 3 to 4 hours per week. Next step is to analyze the data given. So I typically use Tableau by just dragging and dropping the fields to arrive at a story. Once I've identified the storyline, I sketch the design or layout on a sheet of paper. I learned from Sarah Burnett again. Once you sketch your idea, it's pretty easy to build it in Tableau. I then publish my Viz and post it on Twitter on a Monday or a Tuesday evening to get my Viz reviewed. Usually the Viz reviews happens on Wednesdays around 11 p.m. Singapore time. So I mostly try my best to stay awake until then and listen to the feedback. End of day Thursday, I would have my Viz iterated based on the feedback given. And is when Eva or Andy picks their favorites for that week. So this is the best part. Is on building your first database. So here are some tips that I would give. So add a catchy or meaningful title that goes with your story. One of the significant elements while building your Viz is to have a proper title. In other words, your title should be apt and it should add more meaning to the story that you're going to build. Add a subtitle or a brief description about your Viz. So a brief description about the topic or the title would be beneficial to understand your Viz better. So go for bands wherever possible. So using big ass numbers draws people's attention to your Viz. However, don't overcrowd your Viz by adding too many of them too. We would also suggest to keep it very simple and clean. So use simple yet meaningful charts to visualize your data. Don't complicate it. Build it in a way that anybody would understand the data shown on your Viz at a first glance itself. Use minimal and appropriate colors. Always use minimal colors, fixed to using maybe 2 to 3 at the max. Adding too many colors loses the context to your Viz and it makes it very, very difficult for the reader to understand. So you have to keep in mind that do not use red and green colors on the same Viz because you have to be mindful about color blind people as well. It's completely fine to just use bar charts. Don't complicate it because bars are the easiest yet a better way of representing the data. Instead of using a pie or a bubble chart, use simple bar charts. They are more readable. So I would show a Viz from Jeffrey Schaffer, who has done this. I mean, he's put together different types of bars. So I would highly encourage to go through this and you can even use this on your Vizzes too. My favorites are this Viz, where you can kind of highlight, so here it's has been performing and that's why it's highlighted. So, highlighting a bar and then using a bar like this, like, if you use this bar, it's not gonna overwhelm your dashboard. So it's gonna look very simple. So one example of that outline bar is what I'm going to show you now. used a lot of bars in my Vizzes. See this one here. Again, uh, again one of my MakeOverMonday Vizzes, and this was about Operation Fistula. So if you see here, it's a very simple design. So all I've used is a map and a bar. I mean, like, 4 bars, but they are outline bars. So a different way of representing it. So you can utilize this Viz here to, build your own Vizes as well. And then I love using dark background, but I'm also against it because if you're using it, just go for a darker gray instead. Sometimes it looks overpowering. And add the data source name and your name to the Viz. So I'm gonna walk you through 2 of my Vizzes as an example to show you how I utilize these tips into my Vizzes. My MakeOverMonday Vizzes. So these are the 2 Mondays that I'm going to show you right now. Firstly, this Viz is on James Paterson book checkouts. This Viz, or when I first saw this data or the topic, which is James Paterson, to be honest, I didn't know who James Paterson is. So I did a little dig up on the internet and got to know more about him. So he's actually one of the world's best-selling author and most trusted storyteller. One of the things I really love about doing the MakeOverMonday projects is that you will be given any data set, be it about sports or health-related topics or property prices. So if you don't know about them, you would get to do a lot of research and you'll get to learn a lot. So I did some analysis using Tableau to see how I can visualize or what I can visualize from the data. So if you look at the data set, so this is the data set that I have. You might, if you see here, there are a lot of information given. So my first suggestion would be not to go for all the columns that are listed here or all the data that you see in the data set. You can arrive at a particular story and so you can limit to whatever you want to show or whatever you are interested to show. So what I did was, after analyzing, I thought of course, see, previously I talked about how to use the tips, right? So I've used them here on my Vizzes. So firstly, adding a good title. So you're talking about James Paterson book checkouts, and then a subtitle which says from the Seattle Public Library and from which year to which year. So you give a proper title and a subtitle there. And also, so how many titles were published each year in the library? So I wanted to get an idea of, I wanted to show how many titles were published. And also I've used the bands, so the big ass numbers, like I said, so it draws attention to it. So you say 227 titles published, and then 13 series, and then there were so many checkouts. And also I've given something about the author. So as I said, I didn't know about the author. So like me, I assume there would be many people. So I've given a short description about the author. So anybody who reads this Viz or who doesn't know who James Paterson is. So it'll be really helpful for them. And which series had the most number of checkouts? So this one, what I've done here is I've utilized Tableau's set action function. So if you click on this, so this is by series, right? So if you click on this, it gives you the titles that, so it gives you the number of checkouts by titles. This is how I built a simple Viz on James Paterson. So if I could remember correctly, it took me around 3 hours because I had to analyze and come up with a proper design. And also before I go designing, what I do is I properly sketch it on a sheet of paper. So that's how you can get your ideas also out of your mind. One more example was this one on the 17 goals to transform our world. I've been saying a lot about, using minimal colors and, also you cannot use icons as well unless you have a proper permission to use them or you've purchased. So ideally, use it. But this data set was by UN, and the most interesting and important data sets. Why? Because it was actually presented. I mean, the MakeOverMonday community had a great opportunity to showcase our Vizzes during the UN summit in New York. So as I mentioned earlier, Eva or Andy, they pick up favorites each week. So this was one of that favorite list, and it got presented during the UN summit as well. Yes, so it was, I took a lot of time thinking about analyzing it and how to visualize it, because I thought this was something for a greater cause and I wanted to spend more time to it. And so what the data is all about is like there are 17 goals, and this is a survey data, and talks about the responses from the people, who actioned most of the goals. So what I thought was, when I looked at the data, every single goal is important. So I wanted to show all the goals and what the responses were. So what I intended to do here is to just break down the different goals into multiple cards, adding the number of responses from each of the goals that you see, and also that's the total responses that no poverty is received, and so how many people were committed forever, and then and how many say for 1 month or how many say for 6 months. So this is how it goes. So this shows for each and every goal. And also, if you see here, climate action is one of the goals that has most number of responses. So I arrived at a final story saying that, climate action is a concern. Again, so you have to prove that, right? So I just had to tell why and how it's affecting people's life and what has been done. So all of this information, I did a little more dig up. So if I'm interested in a particular data set or a topic, that's what I do. So I do a lot more research, and then so that it adds more meaning to whatever you design. So that's how I got this information, and I've added them here. And also for a data set like this, it's always helpful for anybody who looks at the dashboard to add a call to action. What you're saying here is climate action is a concern, but what if people really want to help, right? So if they really want to help, then they can click on this icon here, and then it will take them to another page where they can actually do something about it. these are the two quick examples I thought would be useful. So, as I intend to submit most of my Vizzes for Viz review. It actually depends on my workload at work as well. But so I have again these two Vizzes that I submitted and how it looks before pre-review and post-review. So pre-review on the James Paterson, I added the author image. So as I mentioned earlier, it's not ideal to just copy or download an image from just random websites and add it, because unless you have the permission or you've paid for it, then you can add it. Otherwise, you shouldn't. So I had removed it. And also, if you see, there was another feedback saying that the bands should move to the top and then the author goes below, which makes more sense. So bands are the uh, important. I mean, they are the numbers that draws attention, right? So they should always be on top. So these are the two comments that I received during this review, and I updated and then I posted this again. This is on the 17 goals again. So climate action, the final story that I wanted to talk about, it was kind of, so what the feedback was to be clear on the conclusion. So I didn't have to show the entire 17 goals again. Rather, I can just stick to the goal that I want to talk about, so that it reduces a lot of space as well, right? So yeah, so it was a complete package when I published this. So I hope those two visits were helpful. And now, so what you can achieve by participating in MakeOverMonday. So a few things that I would like to talk about. So firstly, you get to build a very strong Tableau public portfolio. This is going to help you land with a new job opportunity on data visualization, if that's what you intend to do. What I mean by this is the more Vizzes you have up on your portfolio, the more noticeable you become. So there are many stories shared by the community members about how they landed with their dream jobs by participating in MakeOverMonday. I am also a great example of that. So recently I joined another company, and it was definitely because of participating in MakeOverMonday, and the hiring manager was totally impressed by what I had on my Tableau public profile there. Yeah, so there are many proofs, from people in the community who say this project has really helped them achieve so many great things. Secondly, participating in MakeOverMonday, of course, it makes you very creative. So in the sense, you have the freedom to do what you want and how you want to visualize it. You can try approaches that you might you might not get a chance of doing this at work. So I believe not everyone at works get to do what they want, or they don't have the freedom. So the invaluable feedback that you receive from Eva or Sarah Bartlett during biz reviews will help you improvise your vizzes each week. Thirdly, you get to be part of this awesome community of data rock stars. I'd like to share a story of my own as an example. I was a very shy person, actually an introvert, and I never had any attraction towards social media. But I decided to come out of my comfort zone and to become part of this community. All it takes is a small stepping out, and you can have a lot of fun as well. It's not only fun, but also it helps you achieve greater things. So you will start loving it when people motivate you, or when people see you as an inspiration, or when you get recognized for all that you do. So these are the three important things that you will really achieve by participating in Makeover Monday. There are various other community projects as well, like Iron Quest, Project Health Viz, Workout Wednesday, and Sports with Sunday. And even they might definitely help you to enhance your data viz skills. So, to give a brief description about Iron Quest is another important project that I've been focusing on this year. So, it's hosted by Sarah Bartlett. She's another wonderful person in the community, very humble and very supportive. This project follows the format of Tableau's Iron Viz contest. So you can follow the link here to know more about this project. One thing that I would like to add here is participating in this project has helped me to participate in this year's Iron Viz contest. So I was on cloud nine when I saw my Viz on the fifth position out of nearly 84 submissions that Tableau received. Yeah, so I think that's the end of today's session. And once again, I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone in the data family who has guided me throughout and being so supportive. So special thanks to Eva, Andy, Sarah Burnett, and Sarah Bartlett for all the invaluable feedback and for all that they do for the community as well. So any questions I can take?
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Meera. I think it was a great session. And rightly you said that I think data visualization is a creative process, right? And you have to learn how exactly you can go ahead and achieve that curiosity about your data. So I think I'm glad to say that Sarah Burnett is with us and she is listening to us. I think all the kudos which you have given to her, I think she was able to hear it. And I think that's the power of Tableau community we are talking about over here. So I think the first question which I have for you is that one is new, right? I'm just started my journey with Tableau. What should be the three things in your mind for them, right? Like what should be their guiding principles if they want to achieve this particular data visualization skills?
Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, so someone who's starting new, um, I would suggest them to join the Tableau community first. So it's on Twitter, right? So the Tableau community is very active there because you get to see a lot of people doing amazing work. So I know there are a lot of projects and it's going to be really overwhelming, but you don't have to immediately start your Vizing journey. So you can always watch what they do and how they do it. So it's a lot of inspiration that you can take out of each and every work that you see in the community. So I guess that would be one of the key things for anyone who is intending to start. And also get going with Makeover Monday because it's even for anybody who's starting new. It's going to be a very simple data set, and you can create a simple visualization. You do not have to be a pro. So, and always there are people giving you feedback when you post something in the community. So you don't have to submit your Viz for Viz review. So instead, you can post it in the community saying, on Twitter, saying that you would, welcome any feedback. So then there are many people who are helping you out and guiding you through. So that's how even I started. Yeah.
Perfect. And thanks for that. And I think I have one more question over here. And they're asking about how do you pick colors? Is there any particular website or tool do you use to pick colors?
It's a good question. So I use this, right. So this is really helpful. So So, so what you can do is you can enter space. So if you keep hitting space, then you see the colors changing, right? Say for example, you like this color. So you can lock this and if you want this as your background, you can lock that and then it will give you the colors that could match your background. So each and every Viz, this is what I use. So this is the website that I use every time. And yeah, it has worked out great.
And I have one question from Sarah over here. So she is asking, as you have already technical minded before, you started doing your Makeover Monday every week, right?
Mm.
So she is interested what you have learned on this journey from a technical standpoint that may have surprised you.
Technically, there are many things. So I think I mentioned earlier as well, like you don't get to do, I mean, I work on Tableau at work as well, but I don't get to do all the great stuff or all the new features that Tableau has. Like for every version that Tableau releases, there are thing or the other, like, you have set actions or the parameter action, so many things, right? So you don't get use all that in a work environment. So I use that as a freedom, and I do implement those in my Makeover Monday Vizzes, so you can learn something technically as well. There's a lot of set actions. The previous example that I showed had a set action example. So yeah, so that's how I do it.
And the follow-up question on that is that how much time did you spend on that UN goals dashboard?
Okay. So about I don't exactly remember, but it would be about like 4 to 5 hours because I really wanted to yeah, do something great and visually appealing as well. Because there are a lot of cards, and you have to the way you design it is it's going to take you some time to design it itself, and then you have a lot of colors, a lot of icons. So it took me some time. So I would say 4 to 5 hours.
And do you want to talk about any best practices which Sarah has told you when you are starting your journey? Like if you want to share something like that, how she encouraged you that you should. You talked about that now you are basically participating in all the Makeover Mondays, right? So what was that particular boost that you wanted to participate over here in Makeover Mondays?
Yeah, so I was really how do I say, I was really amazed by um, showing such a great commitment towards what you want to achieve, right? So as I mentioned, she did all her I guess it was 52 if I'm not wrong. Yeah, 52 weeks of Make or Monday last year, and the way she grew was really quick. So she became an ambassador, and there were many people who saw her as an inspiration. So all these, working in the same work environment, it was really great to see what she was able to achieve, and even I wanted to do the same as well. So that's when I thought, once I started whizzing, I thought this is also my passion. And I took I mean, I've also taken a personal commitment this year to do every single Mako Monday as well. And she gives a lot of, I mean, initially she used to give me a lot of feedback on every whiz that I built. So it helped me in every visit neat and clean, and it gives you a clear picture and a story. So that's where I learned. And even the coolers website that I showed you, it was what I mean, it is what she uses for her business too. So there are a lot of things actually I learned from her. Yeah.
I think it's great to have such mentor, right, which can motivate you about it.
Yes, completely.
I have one more question for you. So someone is asking how much time should you spend regularly to be strong with skills in Tableau? Like how exactly you're updating yourself with respect to what are the new features coming in Tableau.
Yeah, that's a good question. So, so what I would suggest is if you're starting to participate in any of say for example MakeOverMonday itself in one of the projects, so you can try to implement if you really like the new feature that Tableau has released, then you can try to implement that feature into whatever Viz you build. So it's like you're gonna I mean, you'll be done with the Make or Money Biz as well as you would have learned something new. So that would be, something you can do. And also, there is this project called Workout Wednesday. Yeah, so every Wednesday there would be a challenge. I mean, every week. So there would be a challenge that they post on Twitter, and it would be mostly based on the new features that Tableau releases as well. So you can go ahead and try on that.
Perfect. And I think I will just take the last question over here. Do you recommend any books, website that people should go ahead and follow?
Yes, is storytelling with data. So that's the book that you should always go ahead and read. And of course, there is a book released by Eva and Andy as well on MakeOverMonday. So they talk about all the Vizzes and what's good and bad about the Vizzes, and it's really interesting. So you can concentrate on these two books, and of course you can follow a lot of people on Tableau Public. Um, Very hard to come up with names because there are so many, but yeah, so once you join the community, I guess you would know, and you would actually follow them. So I think Tableau Public is where you can go and take a look. And also there's this gallery on Tableau Public. So Tableau chooses this of the days every day. So if you look here, there are really amazing Vizzes that you can see. So if you click on it, it tells you who designed this Viz, and you can take that author as an inspiration, and you can follow them, and you can download their workbooks and see how they've built their Viz. So that's what you can do as well.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Meera, for all your feedback, for all your tips and tricks, and sharing with us how you can improve your data visualization skills. And I think one thing which I have learned from is that I think feedback is very important for you, right? And you should always welcome that feedback because you will learn a lot with respect to it.
Yes,
So
exactly.
thank you for presenting on VizConnect. And I think everyone has a great weekend ahead. We'll see you soon next time. Thank you. Bye. Take
Thank
care.
you.